Former Wyoming Congresswoman Liz Cheney, who has been campaigning for Vice President Kamala Harris. Welcome back to Face the Nation.
Thank you. Great to be with you, Margaret.
I have a number of questions for you, but I do want to start where I left off with Senator Vance. He responded to your characterization of him as a misogynistic pig by attacking your father and his role in the Iraq War. Donald Trump has also done so. Do you care to respond?
Look, I think that they are doing everything they can to try to distract from the fact that the people who know Donald Trump best, including retired four-star Marine General John Kelly, who is a Gold Star father, have come out and said very clearly and very directly to the American people that Donald Trump is not fit. That Donald Trump himself, standing near the graves of our fallen service members, says things like they're suckers and losers. We all watched on January 6th when Donald Trump sat in the dining room next to the Oval Office for hours, and watched people with his flags and his name, a mob he had sent to the Capitol. He watched them brutally beat police officers and invade our Capitol. His own vice president's not voting for him. His chiefs of staff aren't voting for him. Secretaries of Defense, National Security Advisor. So, this is completely unprecedented. I don't think, certainly in my lifetime, probably in American history, have you had a situation where so many top officials of the former president are saying they won't vote for him. Yeah. And I think, we're going to hear continued assaults and rhetoric from Donald Trump and J.D. Vance to try to cover that up. But at the end of the day, it's desperation. The American people are much smarter than that, and they see through it, I'm confident.
Yeah, well, the United States government and its elections always have a way of making each election worse than the last one. And then that one worse than the one before that. And if you don't vote the right way this time, hey, this wonderful democracy where everybody has access to everything equally could go away. We just spread peace and love all over the world. And the Republicans and Democrats, look at them. It's like the Crips and the Bloods. They're having a truce. They done linked up. This shit don't make no sense. What they think, we stupid? They're trying to preserve this damn duopoly that they have developed that works so perfectly for both sides. And the players who come in there and really help them the most are the ones that look like us. And you know what I'm saying? Because then it's hard to call it racist if it's like a brown looking person up there saying that. So, well, there must not be racist. But if we wasn't so racist, how come that's all we hear out of you guys is the anger and the racism and the division? Because it's a racist ass country and it needs to be dealt with and not ignored. Kamala, everybody is under the impression it's going to kick it down the road and it's going to happen just later. And with Trump, everybody feels like it's going to happen right now. Well, if I had my choice, it'd be just to go take a nap and wake up and find out who the next president is and deal with it appropriately, however we have to. Because that's how it always has been. And we've never, ever, ever gotten to the point in our recent lifetimes where they have decided they're willing to get rid of the government that once held slaves. They're not willing to open up it might seem like a beautiful thing if you're white. It might seem like a beautiful thing if you're a newly arriving immigrant who's never been oppressed or had laws put against you where you couldn't drink or eat or you know the story. The Jim Crow that we're still under that everybody says that we're not under. The slavery that we're still under that everybody say we're not under. And then you see Kamala Harris and Liz Cheney, the Cheneys of all people, linking up with the Democrats. This should be good.
Given how outspoken you have been, are you concerned about your personal security if Donald Trump wins this election, as he well may do?
She's asking Liz Cheney, is she worried about her personal security should Donald Trump win the election? Ain't Donald Trump the one been shot at twice? I think Donald Trump's the one who should be asking that question too. Liz Cheney, has anybody ever tried to kill her? She just got easily voted out of office, so she ain't even a threat. She ain't in power. What would they be trying to kill her for? Because they don't like that orange ass suit she got on? That shit don't even make no sense. This is a place where our journalism, we just can't accept it. We can't allow our journalism to just lull in such a low, nasty, fucked up ass place. We need to get it out of this, and we need to quit letting people like this as Liz Cheney, our arch enemy, like now in Kamala and Kamala, like they're just like sorority sisters or some shit. Nah. And do you think she's helping Kamala for free? Is Kamala going to pay her back? I don't know. We need to understand how this shit is going. Are you just volunteering your resources as a fellow Republican to Trump, I guess, somehow, like being them cousins you don't get along with? I guess that's what's going on. But I ain't falling for it. No way. Y'all up to some shit. To see y'all working with common man, Trump must have some shit planned. I can't wait. I cannot wait.
Look, first of all, I am very confident that Vice President Harris is going to win this election. It's what we're seeing all across the country, the kind of absolutely unprecedented coalition that's coming together to support.
Absolutely unprecedented coalition. God damn it, I couldn't have thought of that myself. I like that. And the reason she's saying that is because that's exactly what it is. It's an absolute unprecedented coalition because they trying to save something. And whatever it is they trying to save ain't been benefiting us. We fucking with these high-ass grocery store prices. And Kamala, the only thing she can think of that she consistently repeats is price gouging. When did the price gouging happen? On their watch? I mean, what is going on? You know that shit ain't true. Price gouging. I'm looking at that. And just trying to make us feel like her district attorney, attorney general little acumen is popping up, and she's saying, wait, I'm going to figure this out. It's got to be some laws being broken. I'm going to sniff them out. What are we, stupid? Get the fuck out of here. The prices are not 20, 21, 25, depending on who you speak to or what part of the store you're in, higher because of price gouging. Them motherfuckers been price gouging since the beginning, but it has gotten excessive. And why are these prices excessively high? And it's not price gouging. Why don't she just say that? But the people who fund her campaigns have allowed her to say that. She can put them in the mud and talk shit about them because they're about to get a bigger benefit. The immigrants coming over are going to give them not only employees, but low-wage employees that they can take advantage of. It's really terrible that the Democrats are willing to do that. If you're going to bring people over here and fill up these corporations and businesses, you know, it's just like dealing with one party now. Do you guys think that the Democrats and the Republicans have become so close? I mean, I can't see a division there. I don't see the line. Where is it? It's been crossed. And will we ever be able to get it back? Has Donald Trump exposed them in a way that we have to develop another party or another way to resist these people? And they got us believing that they really hate each other. They fight against each other's policies. They fight against all kind of shit that could benefit us, the American people, whether you're a Trumpster or whether you believe in the Democrats. Because I can't say Kamala. Nobody's a Kamala supporter. They're Democrats, but they ain't Kamala supporters. If they could find somebody right now and inject them into the race with 1 week to go, and they knew that person could do better than Kamala, not guaranteed to win, but they knew that person would do better than Kamala, Kamala would be gone. Because they really messed up. They really went with this black fit. They didn't think that black men and a significant amount of black women would sniff that out. And I don't give a damn what Donald Trump or anybody of any other race says. You can like or dislike Kamala Harris for your own reasons, and that's perfectly fine. But I dislike her because she's an imposter, and she's not proud enough of her own heritage to not bring that into this bullshit, into the fray. At some point, you got to have some foundation, and you have to be able to speak on your life in a way that other people can understand who you really are. And right now, this woman's running for president and 1 week away from a potential election that she could win, and we don't even know who she is. But we know that she's willing to play footsies under the table with the Republicans because they always have. We're just seeing it out in front of our faces, but they've always have. This ain't no new shit.
her. We're all going to run through the tape, and nobody is overconfident here, but I do believe she's going to be the next president of the United States. And I think that Donald Trump has ushered violence.
Her daddy is Dick Cheney. Let me just say that, because some people, and those of you who are young and you hear her saying violent, yeah, Trump, he's so violent. Add up all the violence that you can attribute to Trump, and then check out her pops and the Democratic Party in general. Shit.
Into our politics in a way that we haven't seen before. Any violence is unacceptable. Certainly the assassination attempt on the former president was completely unacceptable, and obviously should never.
Do you think that he encouraged the violence against him? You think people who want to get deep into politics want to be shot at? No, of course not. But I'm just saying, don't let this woman come out and act like the Republicans and the Democrats, are just like, oh, this is where we draw the line. No, it isn't. And he didn't inject violence into the politics. We have presidents who have been killed. We have presidents who have been murdered. We have a whole different country if some of our presidents hadn't died. And they always seem to die making a change, making things a little different. Remember when the president, what was his name? Oh, yeah, Abraham Lincoln. Remember him? He's trying to usher in some change in his own way, and it just wasn't acceptable. And whereas he died. You know what I'm saying? When you get presidents who try to make change that the public ain't ready for, they can get murdered. Bad shit can happen. Some people like the way this country is, and I'm just saying, let's not blame Donald Trump for this country being violent, because there was assassination attempts, successful assassinations, total movements being stopped with bullets. So this is a violent country. You don't keep people in slavery non-violently. It's not impossible to do. It's impossible for you to do that, to achieve it. So let's not talk about violence like it's something that Donald Trump brought up and we just had to put a new word in the dictionary, because he's a hell of a terrible person in his own right. But we don't have to exaggerate or take advantage of that opportunity and take some of the negativity off the Democratic Party and try to slide that on them too. There's enough racism to go around on both sides. Put it to you like that.
Have happened. But when you have a situation where, Donald Trump suggests that people who disagree with him ought to be put before military tribunals, that the former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff should be hanged for treason, and his running mate, doubles down on it, I think that tells you that you're dealing with a man who doesn't have any conscience, and the people who worked most closely with him know that. And
if she had said those exact same things that she's saying right now 15 years ago, everybody thought she was talking about her goddamn daddy. Because that's the problem I got, is who you cannot rehabilitate Dick Cheney, Karl Rove, George Bush. Everybody trying to act like George Bush was a good old he's a fucking piece of shit ass president. Now all of a sudden we playing footsies with but like I say, and I speak as a black man who has been brainwashed by this political system since I've been able to vote legally. Because I just don't think, with the proper education and understanding of the political system in this country, that I would have voted every election as an adult as a Democrat. I just don't believe I'd have done that. I believe had I been exposed to more information about the political system and how it works, I would have probably become exasperated with it long time ago and moved in a different direction. But it is what it is. You try to, think you're helping those who are helping you, and then you find out they're not helping you, and you got to do something different, and then you're looked at as stupid because the guy who you don't vote for ain't helping you either. But I think what people don't get is that's why you're not voting for him, So one of them got to do something for you. So if neither are doing anything for you, then it would be wise not to vote for them. And then they will both see it when the final numbers come out, not the polls, the actual numbers. This many people voted. This is what I got. This is what he got. I need to campaign different next time. But hopefully this will be it for both of these two. We should not have to see the last name Trump or the last name Harris unless one of Trump's sons decides to throw his hat in the arena, and that's a whole nother story.
So I'm confident that he's going to be defeated next week.
We're seeing a really interesting gender divide in this election. And I know you've been appealing to people to vote their conscience, and you said they never have to say a word to anybody.
Do you know how underhanded and sneaky and fucked up that sounds? This is a Democrat. I mean, I'm sorry, you guys. I get them mixed up. This is a Republican sitting here saying, hey, just vote your conscience, and you never have to tell any... Shh. Just makes you never want to look at them two parties the same again.
About who they actually do vote for. Yesterday, former First Lady Michelle Obama said something similar. Take a listen.
If you are a woman who lives in a household of men that don't listen to you or value your opinion, just remember that your vote is a private matter.
That's like, what kind of fucking country are we living in right now? Do we have that many women who are living in, where if some woman come in the house and she having tea or coffee with her sons or her husband, and she say, I've been looking at Kamala, and I think that she's really saying things that would make me support her. And they'd be like, what did you say, Ma? Like they're about to backhand her or something. What kind of country do they think we live in? Or is that just some bullshit ass rhetoric? Is that really what they believe the country is like? Because if it is, why didn't her husband do more for women than he did for gay people? If he really believes that we live in that kind of a country where women is like sitting at the table shutting the fuck up. I don't believe that. I believe there are some domestic violence going on in this country, no doubt. But I'm just saying, is that kind of our culture where the women are like in a place where they need Michelle Obama to tell them it's okay to to speak?
Regardless of the political views of your partner, you get to choose.
Yeah. She trying to tell people to go against their man, go against their marriage, go against their beliefs, go against their household, or whatever people do to vote. I'm going to tell you guys something. The most important thing to me is information. If you like Kamala Harris, I just want you to know why you like her. If you don't like her, I want you to have a clear understanding as why you don't like her. I have a clear understanding of why I don't like the lady. I have a clear understanding why I don't like Trump's ass. I have a clear understanding. And if you have that, that means that you have some level of education about that. It might not be as much as you should have or as much as you'd like to have, but at least you have some information. But when you go, supporting folks and fighting other people and getting upset, and you don't even know a whole lot about them really, or you think you do, or it's more how you feel, or Kamala ain't nothing special, but you want to vote for her because Trump's worse. Because he's worse. It's the lesser of two evils. And I think I was a very young person the first time I ever was in a conversation with somebody, and it ended with that. And then over my life, I always get that lesser of two evils, or we can agree to disagree. I never like ending a conversation or a debate or anything with that bullshit. It's the lesser of two evils. Hey, we gotta agree to disagree. No, we don't have to agree my ass on shit. You can. It's no way to walk away from a verbal debate or any kind of that, and you end up on different sides like you came, and feel, really good about yourself, and go home and say, well, we really agreed to disagree. No. You can love somebody, you can respect somebody, but you don't agree to. You let them do what they want to do. You want to help them is what you're trying to do. And they're trying to help you. And that's where an intelligent conversation has to come out of somebody to be able to get their side across clearly. And then, if you run into loved ones who still want to vote for Donald Trump, or who still want to vote for Kamala Harris, or who want to just sit on the couch and not vote out, you do have to leave them alone. And it's agreeing to whatever you want to call it. I always just look at it just being tolerant. And that's what it really come down to. Just being tolerant. Don't mean you agree. It don't mean you like it. But it do mean you accept it. And because you know that there are some things about you that aren't liked. And people who look like you that people don't like, but they're tolerant. So, there's a lot of tolerance that need to be exercised in this country. We're not a very tolerant people.
I have to say it's a little striking. It sounds a little 1950s or 1970s.
And they're real quick to bring up I'm saying this shit. I hate to hit that pause button so quick. I gotta say this shit. They're so quick to bring up the old times and the Jim Crow and all that stuff is still here, you guys. That's why they keep trying to bring it up, because it feels like heat on the back of your neck. You don't have to turn around to know that it's a fire or something back there, but you can feel it. And they keep trying to remind us of Jim Crow, of slavery, of bad times. But then they absolve themselves of it when you bring it up in a kind of a reparations type way. Oh, no, that was so long ago. But it ain't so long ago that you guys won't keep bringing it up to scare us and to remind us how terrible it was. And it could be that way again if you don't vote for us, so we could continue to protect you the way we have been. That's all right. Let us fend for ourselves. Just leave us alone.
Are you really hearing from female voters that they're afraid to tell their spouses who they're voting for?
Yeah, what we're seeing is so important and so interesting. You're seeing a real coalition of women who are pro-life and pro-choice come together to support Vice President Harris. And that's because we've seen some of the draconian laws that have been passed in places like Texas and North Carolina that are preventing women from getting life-saving health care.
By Republicans, the party that you're a part of. You would just think that abortions are going to happen. I would think that a room full of intelligent people would probably agree on that. They might not be legal abortions, and they might not be ethical, and they might not even be safe. But abortions are going to happen. And I think that the Republicans and the Democrats need to back up off of that and start dealing with it in a different way. Everybody want to be so absolute. If we can agree on the fact, and it is a fact, that abortions are going to happen, whether you know about them or don't know about them, and people are going to die and some bad things. They're in a country as advanced and as civilized as we are supposed to be, we should be able to figure that one out without this. It's 2024, and we got a candidate who we got a lot of questions for. And all we getting out of her is a bunch of abortion talk. I'd like to spend most of her time talking about her record, her accomplishments, and her vision. In a real way, and not this opportunity economy and that bullshit. Some real stuff.
Preventing women from getting medical care that, will ensure that if they have a miscarriage that they can have babies again. Just fundamentally a set of circumstances that can't be maintained. And so you have a growing coalition supporting Vice President Harris. You certainly have had many Republicans who are speaking out to endorse her, which again is unprecedented. And there are also many Republicans and independents who are saying, look, I don't want to bring the wrath of Donald Trump and J.D. Vance down on me, so I'm going to vote my conscience. I'm not going to talk about it. And we obviously encourage that. Your vote is a secret vote. You should do what you know is right. And I think you're going to have, frankly, a lot of men and women who will go into the voting booth and will vote their conscience, will vote for Vice President Harris. They may not ever say anything publicly, but the results will speak for themselves.
It's an interesting coalition you're talking about in terms of the pro-life movement and where we are now. And you're talking about a coalition here. How do you explain to someone at home who may agree, as you do, with the pro-life position that abortion is murder, and reconcile that with putting that conviction aside and voting for Vice President Harris? How did you do that?
Because holding this country together and oppressing people is more important than anything. So when it comes to the country possibly falling apart at the seams, even if it goes down, it's going to go down with the Republicans and the Democrats holding hands real tight. So, this lady here, she really needs to go on back over to the Republican side and be a Republican. I liked it better that way. Seeing them work together, it really makes you so distrustful of the country, doesn't it? Doesn't it just make you wonder? Because it's like, Every time you're down on the Senate floor or in Congress in open sessions negotiating the laws that are going to govern our lives, you can't even have enough love in your hearts ever to negotiate and compromise. And even if it's something you don't like, maybe you'll get it on the next bill or whatever. Work it out in that way because you're looking out for the good of the country. And if the Republicans and Democrats have the heart or their hearts set on the good of the country, you think there wouldn't be so much infighting and shutting down the government and stuff that harm us as a people. Nah, ain't nobody buying that shit. Y'all scared of Donald Trump. He took your party, and now you guys using the Democrats to help you get it back, and they're using you to help keep it. Because right now, it's two parties against this guy. I wish Donald Trump had ran as a Green Party. Now, back in 2016, he changed this country. We might have hated him and all that, but once he stepped down, there would have been a third party established. That's the kind of, who would have thought that this man had a good enough run to jump in the Republican Party and win? But what if he had decided he didn't want to run in either party in 2016 and things had gone just the way they gone? He was blowing the Republicans out. I mean, in 2016, Hillary Clinton, Secretary of State, lose to a reality show host. All right, y'all can keep laughing at Donald Trump if you want to. If the Secretary of State couldn't pull it off, y'all keep pulling this AG stuff out. Kamala ain't done nothing. Kamala ain't done nothing but oppressed. She ain't hurt. She ain't helped nobody. Not nobody at the bottom. That's why she say middle class. Middle class is good. Middle class is opening the refrigerator every day and it's food in it. Middle class is the bills are paid and your parents could go the length of the time they own their home and never be late on the payment. That's middle class. So quit saying that and think you're relating to somebody. Everybody don't relate to that.
Yeah, I don't think it's about putting convictions aside. I think it's about looking at the reality on the ground of what's happened since Roe was overturned. And again, when you have a place like Texas where women need life-saving care, perhaps it's a woman who has had a miscarriage and she may be bleeding out and she cannot get a DNC. She can't get the care that she needs because there's concern that maybe that care has been criminalized. And, you have a situation also in Texas where the Attorney General is suing. Literally, he's suing so that he can see the medical records of women who have sought abortions. This is coming from people who support Donald Trump, and Donald Trump won't let anybody see his own medical records. So the idea that you've got those kinds of policies and state laws being put in place is really mobilizing women to say, look, you don't have to abandon being pro-life. But this kind of circumstance, this kind of really abhorrent situation where women can't get medical care they need, that just can't go on.
But it's been going on already. So maybe if the Republicans and the Democrats had taken it out of play, had solidified it in a way that we wouldn't be arguing about it every time somebody got a big old majority or hatched a plan and figured out a way to execute it. And here we are. So in reality, you and the Democrats are doing what they are accusing Trump of doing. Stopping the border thing from going through so he can run on a problem. Well, it sounds like you guys are running on a problem. Unfortunately, it's such a sensitive issue, abortion, that many people won't say that or look at it that way, but it's pretty much what it is. If Kamala Harris didn't have abortion to run on, I don't think she'd have anything like an ace in the hole where she'd think, gosh, if nothing else, maybe they'll look at the laws that have changed in Texas as a result of this and just give me their vote just on the strength that it's better than scaring the hell out of people. But even with her Hail Mary passes that she's throwing, linking up with the Republicans, capping all day and all night long, one thing I can tell you folks is it's not helping her. And that's the sad part about it. It ain't helping her. And now we're going to have to deal with all of our friends and people who shouted and argued and debated us. And we're going to all wake up and hopefully get on the same team and understand that now we have somebody in the White House that we can show a contrast. And because I don't want someone to win and the people who are being oppressed feel like like that's their people. Like that's the person they identify with. That's some scary shit. So we need her to lose so that we can see a contrast in the good and the bad in the country. We know Trump bad. Everybody who support Trump ain't, but everybody who oppose Trump ain't good. So you know how that go. It's the United States, you guys. We got a lot of work to do, but it's not going to be solved by the duopoly doing I mean, that's like his greatest act of all, just completely fooling the whole country into believing that we hate him. We just fighting all the time. I hate him. And then they put their arms around each other and they help each other back, help each other back to health. And this lady has got to be bitter. She pissed them off trying to participate with the Democrats, thinking nothing was going to happen to her. And Trump went and campaigned against her, and now she's a civilian. Yes, she's no longer a part of the legislature. You got to think about that kind of shit when you start messing with people who powerful. Trump is powerful, whether you like his ass or not. He's powerful. He is.
Do you think that Vice President Harris going to the ellipse on Tuesday, as she plans to do to make her closing argument, is really the most effective one? Because we see in our polling that on both sides of the aisle, each party is blaming the other for undermining democracy. Why do you think that would help put Harris over the mark and help win?
Yeah, I think it's so interesting. I think when you look at the polling, first of all, people have to remember this is the first presidential election post January 6th. And so, you know, you've got, in fact, many of the same people who were promising a red wave in 2022 doing the same thing now. We're not going to see it now. We didn't see it then. And what Vice President Harris has done, I've watched her do it. I've sat next to her on the stage as she does it. She talks about a whole range of issues. She talks about grocery prices. Okay. She talks about women's health care. She talks about...
Now, the things that she's saying are things that she would be ripping Kamala apart on if she was opposing her, or if she was campaigning for the Republican like she should be. She would not be supporting Kamala's take on why the prices are high. Oh, it's price gouging on tires, on food, you know what I'm saying? On things for your garden and your home, kitchen supplies, clothing. You know, the prices are up. So all the companies in the United States just turned on us and just started price gouging us to the point where it's significant enough to be like called inflation. Price gouging? No. Hell no. That shit didn't happen.
You know, Donald Trump's tariff policies, which are massively inflationary. Yes. And at the same time...
That's one more thing I'd like to interject. Donald Trump implemented those tariffs against China when he was president the first time, before COVID. And we did not experience inflation or supply chain issues as a result of it. I'm speaking on that because of personal experience, and she needs to remember that part because that's a fact. So don't try to scare us with something that we already seen. We've seen it before.
Reminds everybody you have to have a president who obeys the rule of law.
And the rule of law is whatever the Democrats and Republicans think is okay for us. But if you don't, then you're not obeying the rule of law. I really believe for them to be so split and divided down the middle and to not realize that you're not going to help the country and not be able to work it out, which would have made people in the country feel different about a lot of things. You guys have driven us to a division that you say you don't like. You guys are, I mean, even if it means the Democrats got to be the bigger people and think of something that the Republicans really, really want and give it to them. So what is it? What the fuck? We need to get this country moving again. What is it? And they'll tell you. It's probably more money savings for the billionaires up there. Fuck it. Our taxes ain't going down no matter what. So give that shit to them. And then figure out what it is that the Democrats want that just absolutely gotta happen. That when you campaign, if it ain't right, you're gonna campaign only on that pretty much. That's all you're gonna hear. Like abortion. So you tell the Republicans we want abortion. They say, well, goddamn it, here, fuck, take it. They might work with you if you give them what they want. If you guys, but if you guys don't give each other, then this becomes tribal, and that's why we're divided. And then you try to accuse him of us being divided. It doesn't work like that. Speak of some things you did to reconcile us, to get us back together, other than running. Running and you winning is not going to unify the country, Kamala. I'm sorry. You're not going to win and then just stand up in front of the United States and everybody's going to be going, I'm so glad Kamala won because now we're back one again. We're together. It don't happen like that. Tell you what, guys. As long as we start looking at the Republicans, the Republican Party that we know as being our allies and our friends, we got a major problem. And we need to ask more questions of our politicians. I asked a lot of questions of Kamala Harris because I know what she did and the destruction that she was responsible for in the state of California. So on a national level, I know that she could probably she can make it so much worse for us all. You know, the thing that I say, and I'm going to get this point off before I get out of here, and I hope I can drive this home to you so you understand like I do. Kamala Harris is not accidentally running for president. It seemed like 2.5 months out, most people were like frantic and jumping around. Oh my God, Biden. We knew 4 years ago that Biden wasn't capable. If you look up news articles and speeches and all that shit from 4 years ago up to present, he's been struggling his whole presidency and through his campaign. He was having moments where he was just losing it, forgetting what to say. Senior moments, early signs of some kind of mental impairment or just slowing down with age. I don't know, but definitely not sharp and capable enough to be running a country. And they knew it. They knew it years before. They knew it long enough in advance for us to have a proper primary. They could have said, Biden, you know what? We believe that most Democrats want you. So get in the primary. But whoever takes second, should you drop out, is going to be our nominee. We're not doing this like you got killed. You didn't get killed. Kamala Harris is not taking over for you because you are not available. You're here. So the vice president does not, in the history of this country, automatically get that nomination. That's not the way that works. They must run and earn it. Being the vice president gives them an advantage. It gave you an advantage, Joe, having been a vice president. To what generally, especially with black people, was a popular president. That was helpful. But with that being said, Kamala Harris has done nothing to just be handed the presidency of the United States because the guy she's standing next to, Donald Trump, is so rotten. That's just not the way it's supposed to work. And he shouldn't win it for the same reason. But you know what? It looked like that's what's going to happen. I think it's more people in the country who dislike her than him. And you know, call me crazy, but that's how I see it. Anyway, I really appreciate the participation, the comments for sure. Keep them coming. Let me know how you guys feel. And we'll see you.